Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pyromancer here, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and today I'm going to blow your minds, as I always say. We'll find out if that actually ends up being the case. But today, I'm going to link N'Zoth directly to Argus. Now, I want to let you guys know, before you even start watching this video, I do have a video about Argus the Unmaker, and in this video, I essentially explore the idea that perhaps he is WoW's version of Hades, the opposite to Zeus, i.e. WoW's aman'thul, and that he is actually the crafter of the Shadowlands, and that the old gods are pieces, fragments of Argus Panoptes, the thousand-eyed giant from Greek mythology, where Argus the Unmaker is heavily inspired from. I also want to throw out there that this game, World of Warcraft, draws heavy influence from an author called H.P. Lovecraft. And H.P. Lovecraft is essentially the creator of what we now know in the game universe as the Old Gods. Now, H.P. Lovecraft started writing way back in the early 1900s, and because of that, he is no longer around. However, a lot of his writings have lived on through other embodiments. He has characters like Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, Azathoth, all interestingly familiar to Azeroth, yogg-saron, Cthulhu, etc. And there's one thing about the old gods that I've certainly thought was interesting, and that's the way that they speak to you. Everyone has kind of always thought that the old gods are lying to you, but in this video, we're going to learn a little thing or two, potentially, about the old gods, and I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, so let's check it out. So, in this quest, there's a quest from Cataclysm from Twilight Highlands called Enter the Dragon Queen, and it has this confrontation between DEATHWING and Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder, the leader of the Red Dragonflight. And essentially, Alexstrasza does some type of quick ritual that summons up DEATHWING. And just as Neltharion was told by the Demon Soul, Alexstrasza seeks dominion over you. Alexstrasza wants to claim your power like she did with the Blue Dragonflight. And ironically, Alexstrasza shows up and she says, I have to end you just like I ended Malygos. Now, the interesting thing is not so much this, but how exactly DEATHWING responds. Now, I'll let you watch the video real quick, and we'll talk about it after.
I have a world to unmake.
It pains me, Neltharion, but I must end you as I have ended Malygos.
End me, Lifebinder. You think life is yours to take away? Life is weak, mortal, fleeting, fragile. Death is final. Death is eternal. Death is my realm. Look upon me, and you see death incarnate, the unmaker of worlds.
I see the hollow metal shell of a once great ally, and the precious gift of the Titans wasted.
Then witness my new gifts, bestowed by this world's true masters!
Alright, so now that you guys have watched the video, you probably saw what I'm talking about. DEATHWING has very interesting dialogue. He says, Lifebinder, do you presume that I am at your beck and call? I have a world to unmake. It pains me, Neltharion, but I must end you, as I have ended Malygos. End? Me? Lifebinder, you think life is yours to take away? Life is weak, mortal, fleeting, fragile. Death is final. Death is eternal. Death is my realm. Look upon me, and you see death incarnate, the unmaker of worlds. I see the hollow metal shell of a once great ally, and the precious gift the Titans wasted. Then witness my new gifts, bestowed by this world's true masters. And in that scenario, I think he's talking about the old gods. Now here's the thing, is Deathwing is definitely under the control of the old gods. We know this. How do we know? Well, it's made very evident throughout Chronicle and pretty much all known history about Deathwing that he was being whispered to by the old gods pretty much from the start, which I think is interesting. If the old gods are imprisoned down under the earth, it would make sense that the Earth Warder would be the one that would hear them. However, he says, look upon me and you see death incarnate. What does incarnate mean? Well, I looked that up just to be sure on the definition, and incarnate essentially means it is a flesh or physical embodiment of something. It is not the actual. See, he is just death incarnated into a physical form as Neltharion, as Deathwing. The unmaker of worlds. Well, who is the unmaker of worlds? Who is the unmaker of worlds? Argus, the unmaker. He is literally the unmaker of worlds. He would go around and, the power of re-origination, basically scramble everything into a mess of tangible, shapeable energy. And then the Titans would come back after re-origination was done and they would take care of it, even though they've never told us anything about that, of course. But who is the one that controls Deathwing? N'Zoth. And we know that because throughout the Dragon Soul raid, obviously in Cataclysm, Yoshaj the Unsleeping and the other Cathraxi that are in that instance talk about N'Zoth, for the glory of N'Zoth, the banners of N'Zoth, etc., etc. We know that N'Zoth has been the one that has been controlling Neltharion. Now, if N'Zoth is controlling Neltharion, and Neltharion has then, as Deathwing, become Death Incarnate, the Unmaker of Worlds, does that not directly tie N'Zoth to Argus? See, the theory is that Argus is totally against what the Pantheon wants. He's the Unmaker. He's the opposite to their end. They go around creating, building, shaping, but Argus is different. He unfortunately serves a different purpose, as the reset button, if you will. And an interesting thing is that a lot of people consider death to be very formal order, pretty much the end-all be-all of any type of order, the most pungent form of order in the entire cosmos, even more than light. But here's the thing, is that Argus is blue, very ordered as we can see. However, I would think if fragments of him were pulled out and left on a planet like Azeroth, one that I speculate is just riddled with chaos, Sargeras and Medivh even say it themselves that Azeroth is plagued with disorder, could it be that the old gods are as chaotic and entropic as we see them because they're literally stuck on a planet that is creating chaos? So they're basically essentially feeding on that. And that could explain why the old gods are classified as much more chaotic, whereas Argus, being death and order, would be closer to order. However, I do think that, like we see Sargeras hitting him with this fel and it creating this red apocalypse mode, that in turn, the same thing could potentially be done to the fragmented parts of him that were pulled out, i.e. the old gods. Perhaps the old gods didn't look how they used to look originally, and that the chaos inside of Azeroth is actually what turned them to look as they do. And when they came upon Argus, Aman'thul, as this divine force of order and light, basically said, no, we are not doing this. Aman'thul, through time, I think, foresaw his own death at the hand of Argus. And I think that that did come to pass. I also think that Aman'thul, having realized now that the Titans weren't dead, and they were in fact in Antorus, that could be why Aman'thul in the middle of the fight seems to go, no, after all we fought for, it must not end this way. Like, he thinks that Argus is going to kill him, I think. Now, here's the thing. I want to throw in one more piece to kind of help this tie it together. Before I do that, I want to again express that I think that N'Zoth, yogg-saron, Cthulhu, and Y'Shaarj were all core elements, core parts of Argus that were forcefully, physically extracted from him by the Titans. I don't think that it's something that Argus wanted to do of his own accord, but perhaps he did. Perhaps it was something that was done in order to, over time, gradually set him free. But here's the thing is, if flesh is his gift, he is the true creator, and it came from yogg-saron. What if it's not? What if the curse of flesh is not from yogg-saron, but yogg-saron was simply the one closest to the forges that could spread it? What if the curse of flesh comes from Argus as his gift in allowing you to die? Life is weak. Life is frail. Death is eternal, though, and giving us flesh gives us the ability to die, right? So anyway, I would really like to know what you guys think on that part. I want to also throw out there something that Il'gynoth says. And he says, when he's talking about the gift of flesh, they call it the gift. He essentially says, in a removed dialogue line, such impudence, we share a master. We have the same master. And if we are a product of the curse of flesh as a product of Argus, and Il'gynoth is a product of N'Zoth as a product of Argus, we do share the same master, do we not? I certainly think that Argus rules the Shadowlands, rules the Loa, is the high god of the Zandalari trolls, and Zul has had direct contact with Argus before, I believe, as the Dark Prophet. I believe he's the one that will potentially bring about the Hour of Twilight, where I believe it's possible Argus may return to Azeroth. That could be what the Blood Moon is. But I'd really love to know your thoughts on this one last thing. I'm going to tie it all together with this. Ogmott's Dream Journal, page number 5. Dat blade has shiny eye, always watching us. Why you no see it? 3 lies the first one been told. Bound by that throne? No. Free. Free. The next gonna come soon. Maybe they see this one. Now this struck me as very interesting. A lot of people, they have their opinions on the blade having a shiny eye. It could be Charlemagne, could be Xal'atath, could be the big sword in the ground. I definitely think it's the big sword in the ground because we, in all of the Art of Sargeras, have seen this eye in his sword. And now that we're seeing it in person, we for some reason don't see the eye. I really think that that's an eye of Argus and that it's always watching the Twilight's Hammer, because the Twilight's Hammer works for the old gods who work for Argus. They're parts of Argus. Now 3 lies, the first one been told. Who knows what the lie is? I'm not going to jump into that. But bound by that throne? No. What were we under the impression of? We were under the impression that the Titans are going to use the remaining power of Argus to bind Sargeras to the seat of the Pantheon. No. Free. Free. We also assumed that Argus would probably be expended. But when you kill Argus, he has a death dialogue option that says free. Free. It's all he says as he dies. We're not imprisoning Argus on the seat of the Pantheon with the Pantheon. We're setting him free from the chains that they essentially have him in. One other page, page 6, coming right after page 5. Other hammers here now. They talk and talk about Argus, about the one that got wakened, about great victory that our enemy not even notice, but only Ogmott sees the visions. Other hammers not blessed by the masters. Ogmott share his dreams with the others, but the skinny one just laugh. Ogmott no like her. But here's the thing. The other hammers are here now, the other Twilight's Hammer. They talk and talk about Argus, about the one that got wakened. Who got awoken? Argus. He got woken up from his dreaming world soul state. We woke him up, and then we beat his ass with the help of the Titans to the point where we killed him, and then he disappeared, right? About the great victory that our enemy not even notice. Where is Argus going when we kill him, when we defeat him? I would wager to you, Argus doesn't stay at the seat of the Pantheon. In fact, I don't think the remainder of his power is expended in order to bind Sargeras to the seat of the Pantheon. I would actually argue that perhaps Argus is either in the Red Star that is coming back to us, or Argus could be on his way back to the Shadowlands. I want to tell you guys something. This is going to be a spoiler, so spoiler alert. I'm going to end the video on this. Spoiler alert. I was told in a vision, if you will, that N'Zoth will not be what we expect from N'Zoth. N'Zoth will be merged with something else. It will not be solely just N'Zoth. And that just has to make me wonder, If the old gods, N'Zoth, Y'Shaarj, Cthulhu, yogg-saron, are all parts of Argus, and we've been slowly killing them, perhaps allowing their souls to return to a shadowy realm, and then we killed Argus, is it possible that Argus is putting himself back together, and that we are essentially the machination, the mechanism, the key to turn the will of Argus in order to allow for his return in the hour of twilight to descend upon Azeroth? Only time will tell. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought of this. The whole Deathwing thing blew my mind. I did not know he ever referred to himself as the Unmaker of Worlds, and I think that it's certainly something to be startled about. So hit the video with some love, drop a like on the video, subscribe for more content. We just hit 50,000, and I cannot thank you guys enough. And I simply cannot thank my patrons enough, as they allow me to do the things that I do on this wonderful channel here, with like this green screen that we have, and like this beautiful setup, and all these great things. So feel free to check out my Patreon. I am going to be streaming today as well, you guys, so feel free to come and check me out on Twitch. And that's pretty much it, you guys. I'm really happy with where I'm at right now on YouTube. I'm really happy with all your guys' support. And yeah. Thank you for allowing me to have that. Love and appreciate you very much. Stay awesome, and until next time, I will see you guys later.
Okay, now this how I'm feeling. Lately, I'm like the villain. Cause while they on that other shit, I've been posted out here chilling. Lord willing, I survive, but not like that